Superhero couples are a hot topic, some are super soulmates, and others, well, not every love story should be told. To the surprise of MCU fans, Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch once had a thing going. In the movies, it's hard to imagine Wanda being with anyone other than Vision, but the comics are a very different story, literally. Before Wanda got serious with Vision, she was getting a little flirty with Clint. It didn't last super long though, because Wanda realized that her heart really lies with Vision and put an end to the situationship. Some interesting tidbits to note about this pair: during Wanda's mental break that led to M-Day, she took out a few Avengers on the way too, one being Hawkeye, so she has taken him out in both senses of the word. Then she brought him back to life later during House of M. Many years after that, the pair met up again and shared a moment together. It was a bit odd though, because this was when Wanda had been resurrected and living in a small village, recovering with little to no memory of her past. Even with that hurdle, the moment shared between the pair brought a sense of closure to the relationship. It took decades to resolve the love story, but Beast and Dazzler were worth the wait. The Beauty and the Beast of the 1980s, Dazzler and Beast, first met in Hollywood. Dazzler was a performer, down on her luck, and Beast was on vacation with big dreams of being on the big screen. At this point, the world isn't super fond of having mutant celebrities. That's why Dazzler is having such a hard time breaking into Hollywood. When she is promised the chance to perform for Hollywood's elite, she takes it. However, the performance is less singing and more of a gladiator fight. Beast and Dazzler are involved at this point and lead a revolt together, breaking up the under-Hollywood fighting ring. Their 80s romance was limited to the 4 comics in the Beauty and the Beast line, and the pair did break it off in the end. Dazzler got her own comic series, and in the last panel of the last issue, Beast made an appearance to ask Dazzler to join his new team of X-Men. We get no answer on that, just a 20-year cliffhanger that is finally resolved by Dazzler superfan writer John McCann. His story in Marvel's Heartbreakers Volume 1 involved the sweet meeting between the former lovers, where Dazzler finally answers Beast's question. She did not want to join his team. We kinda knew that already, but the events of Dazzler 42, her last issue, and Heartbreakers 1 happened close together, so Beast didn't have to wait that long. Dazzler found her happily ever after with another mutant, Longshot. Before the Flash found Iris West, he was quite the charmer, even getting involved with teammate Zatanna. Early on in the Bronze Age of DC, the fastest man around and the most powerful magic user had a bit of a flirtation going. In Justice League of America 187, they even shared a romantic dinner and night together. Pair met in Flash 198. Zatanna kissed Barry as part of her act. She shows she's interested in him in Justice League of America 102, but it doesn't go anywhere because he was married to Iris at that point. Then they are implied to actually get together in 187 because Iris isn't in the picture anymore. Eventually though, Zatanna would suggest that the two should remain friends, and that was the end of that. Until 2023's Harley Quinn, A Very Problematic Valentine's Day special, the couple are briefly featured in a shot together. Doc Ock once proposed to Aunt May so he could inherit a nuclear plant. Truly? What is going on? Aunt May became Doc Ock's housekeeper, and they had a professional relationship. That was all it ever was going to be, but then Octavius found out that Aunt May was set to inherit an island in the mystical land that is Canada, and that island was rich in uranium and had one of the world's most sophisticated nuclear breeding reactors. That's every villain's evil lair dream. All that stands between the Doc and that is marriage. Easy hurdle to jump. The wedding got as far as the couple getting to the altar before Hammerhead interrupted and attempted to kidnap Aunt May. He knew that Aunt May was inheriting something big, he just didn't know what it was, but he did know he wanted whatever it was. This is the most dramatic wedding of the year. May, Ock, Hammerhead, and Spider-Man, of course, they fly off to this Canadian island. Peter rescues Aunt May and the two get off the island. Doc Ock ends up in the power plant next to the fragile reactor. Hammerhead comes charging in and runs right into the reactor, making it explode and destroying the island. I am absolutely baffled, and I cannot believe this story exists, and if you don't believe me, check out Amazing Spider-Man 130 and 131. Deadpool has had a string of peculiar and extraterrestrial romances. Take his accidental marriage to alien Orksa. She was originally married to this other guy, but Deadpool took him out. When she found that out, she got super upset and tried to attack him. Deadpool figured the best way to calm her down was a kiss, and somehow he was right, and it was also then a marriage proposal. So Deadpool went to space on a mission and came out as a married man. The marriage was honestly quite good. They seemed to get along, but Deadpool couldn't stay there forever, so the pair got divorced. But the only way to get a divorce in the alien culture was to end the other partner, so Deadpool had to die to make the divorce final, but lucky for them, that is his specialty and not a problem. Orksa went on to remarry and I think has lived happily ever after. Captain Marvel and Spider-Man had a short-lived romance once upon a time. Sparks first flew in Miss Marvel 34. Carol Danvers was on a mission in New York and it attracted the attention of Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man revealed he was attracted to her when he requested a date. The pair ended up going to a fancy restaurant in issue 47 and it was awful. It looked so awkward. The date does get interrupted by people breaking in through the window. Carol quickly suits up while Peter enjoys his meal. She takes care of business. After the fight, she picks Peter up and they fly away from the restaurant in search of some good chili dogs, finally bonding over their love for food. Sharing their chili dogs on a rooftop, they have a nice ending to a disaster date. In a later meeting where Venom is involved, he tells Peter he felt Carol's feelings towards him, though nothing has come of that yet. When Spider-Man meets Miss Marvel for the first time, the first thing she asks him is if he really dated Carol Danvers. A short-lived couple, but they had a long-term impact. When you think you've seen it all, Marvel throws a human-tiger hybrid toddler at you, and we're just supposed to accept that. Hank Pym, like most characters in the Marvel Universe, was once impersonated by a Skrull. That Skrull, Hank, got to know Tigra on a very personal level, and the pair ended up creating an offspring together. The tiger toddler is still Hank's biological son though, because the Skrull replaced his genetics with Hank's, so even though real Hank had nothing to do with this, he has a little tiger running around. As it turns out though, little William Grant Nelson just looks like a tiger. He has few cat genes and is mostly human. William has spent most of his time with the cat people for safety reasons, as Norman Osborn wanted to experiment on him because of course it would be strange if this didn't get weirder. A young Superman and Lois Lane and also Lana Lang ended up in truly one of the strangest, twisted, romantic in nature storylines I have ever had the displeasure of witnessing. It happened in the 60s when it seems anything goes. The weird romance was featured in Superman's girlfriend Lois Lane 57. So this alternate dimension Spider-Man gets de-aged and sent to the normal Spider-Man's universe. Because he is a child, he goes to find the people he knows, which are Lois and Lana, but Lois and Lana think it's their Superman de-aged and they are both romantically interested in their Superman, so throughout the comic they keep trying to win the young Super's attention in the hope that when he gets re-aged he will choose them over the other woman. It's the kind of thing that would never fly in the year of our Lord 2024. At the end of the comic is when we find out that the Superman the girls know was never actually de-aged, and he explained what happened and helps re-age and send the other Superman back to his dimension. The comic ends with the other universe Superman marrying the other universe Lois and Lana. What if I told you Doctor Strange's girlfriend Clea was intimate with US founding father Benjamin Franklin in the 1970s? Because that happened. Sometimes you hear things about the Marvel Universe that are weird, but they make sense for Marvel. This isn't one of those times. It happened in Doctor Strange 18. Him and his girlfriend Clea were traveling through time and ended up on the same boat as Ben Franklin. Doctor Strange is off dealing with an otherworldly threat, and while that is happening, Ben and Clea are getting to know each other better. That was the original intention. Marvel's editorial staff had a problem with this, can't imagine why, and they changed it to Ben Franklin was actually an evil sorcerer posing as Ben Franklin that enchanted her. In the Deadpool Dead Presidents comic, Ben Franklin's ghost is there, and Doctor Strange makes a comment to him that he still hasn't forgiven him for the 70s. I don't know how to feel. Supergirl once dated her horse. I don't know what to say. Again, it was the 60s and DC was doing whatever they wanted. If it makes you feel any better, it was a Princess and the Frog kind of situation, so she wasn't actually interested in her horse, but the man that turned into her horse. It all started in ancient Greece because of course it did. A centaur named Byron saved the witch Circe and she offered to grant him a wish basically. He wanted to be human. She accidentally gave him the vial to turn him into a horse though. Womp womp. He ends up becoming Supergirl's horse, eventually Comet. And then this alien prince casts a spell on him where anytime a comet is nearby, Comet the horse will turn into Byron the man. He is a cute man, so Supergirl falls in love with him when she sees him, but he doesn't tell her he's her horse because he thinks he needs to keep his identity a secret because it could help him in some super tasks someday. I genuinely cannot think of a single thing that identity thing could help with, but what do I know? There's an entire other storyline with Comet going back in time to ancient Greece to get permanently changed into a man in the 1960s, and then he actually does date Supergirl, and then there's this entire story about him becoming an outlaw. The Horseman is retconned out of continuity by Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that is the best thing to come out of that situation. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and make your mark on the comment section down below. Let me know your favorite super couple. Mine is Barbara Gordon and Dick Dick Grayson, specifically from Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. And with that, this is Juliana signing off. Bye! Is there ever gonna be a day where I don't actually fight with my bangs? I don't think so.